Good morning, everybody. My name is Troy. I'm here from Clear today with Rachel from Princess Cruises. Before we get started, I just wanted to do a quick audio check. If I could ask if you can type in the chat box in the bottom right, if you can hear me, that'd be great. Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Katie, Charlotte. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. As I said, thank you for attending today's webinar session. Today we have Rachel from Princess Cruises. She'll be leading us through today all that is new with Princess Cruises and also the Source Travel Agent Centre. Throughout the if you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat box on the bottom right and we'll come back to those questions at the end. Don't forget that this session is also being recorded and will be uploaded into the Clear Members Hub, along with all our other webinars, which can be viewed at any time. But without further ado, I'll hand over to Rachel.
I don't know if I need to repeat myself or not, but anyway, my name is Rachel Chill. I'm one of the business development managers for Princess Cruises, and delighted to have the opportunity to, I guess, walk you through the new program and cover off all the key highlights, as well as some sales and marketing tools that really you have access to, which are available on OneSource. And that will help you basically sell not only Princess but cruising in general. So with the presentation, I would hope that I'll take around 30 minutes, and then at the end I'll open up the chat line, and as Troy said, pop your questions in, but I'll stay on the line, so if you would like to ask any questions, that you have the ability to do so. So I will kick it off. So why Princess? For those of you who may be not as familiar with Princess, I just want to cover off some of our key unique selling points. So Princess really are a premium cruise line, very much geared to couples, 45 plus. We are family friendly, but I always talk about the fact that we are not family focused. We're not an amusement park at sea. So from, I guess, a brand positioning, we certainly are the market leader in terms of destinations. We go to more ports of call than any other cruise line in the world. We have by far the best loyalty program. Some of you may be familiar with our Captain Circle program. From your client's very first cruise, the more they cruise, the more benefits and privileges they get. And really the top level is our elite program, which I'll touch on a little bit later in the presentation. Some of our signature features. So for those of you who had the opportunity, whether it be to cruise or to do a ship inspection, we have unique features like our Movies Under the Stars experience. We also have our adults only retreat, which is the Sanctuary. So again, unique things to Princess. Obviously, food is a big thing on any cruise line, but particularly with Princess, the top two reasons that customers tell us that they choose Princess, first one is service and the second one is food. And certainly we do have a great variety and choice in terms of our offering, and I'll again talk about that a little bit later in the presentation. One of the key, I guess, drivers, I think, is our year-round deployment of ships in Australia, but also the Australian currency no tipping is really a big driver for people to consider Princess, and also the wide range of accommodation and premium accommodation. So again, the little touches and finesse in our cabins and the way that they've been appointed, and the little added benefits that you get. We also have a new category called Club Class. So for those more discerning customers, you know, we have that available as well. So in terms of, I guess, the program, Princess, really we are the region's market leader. Australians spend more nights on Princess ships than any other cruise line. So if you aren't getting your clients on Princess, you really are missing out on potential commission. We're really excited to announce our largest deployment ever for Australia and New Zealand for next summer. So without further ado, I would like to play this little video. So fingers crossed it all works. Any idea?
Just getting to work now.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so hopefully you can all hear me continuing. So basically, that's in a nutshell some of the key highlights. I'm just going to go through a little bit more detail for you. So with over 900 cruise nights and a capacity of over 200 guests across 5 ships, 6 home ports, this is Princess's biggest program for Australia and New Zealand. Now, as you know, cruising is the fastest growing sector of the industry today. Cruising is not only growing in demand, but also capacity. For clients, you know, there's really never been a better time. In 2016, you may be interested to note that 1.2 million Australians actually took a cruise, and Australia leads the way in terms of market penetration, sitting at around 5.3% of the Australian population actually taking a cruise. So for us, it's really important, and we really see travel agents as a key role in terms of growing not only our business but yourselves, growing your business. So there's a huge opportunity for all of us. In terms of the actual program releases, so we've got record capacity out of Sydney, and we'll have 444 cruise nights overall that will be able to be booked. Obviously, there's a huge uptake and boost for the program out of Fremantle. Of particular note would be the 46-night Indian Ocean and South African Odyssey itinerary. Now, we actually haven't had this itinerary since 2016. So again, imagine the demand will be, we imagine that the demand will actually be high for that. We also have a bumped up season out of Adelaide, and so we've got more departures, not only to, but also from Adelaide than ever before. Golden Princess basically makes a return to Melbourne, and we have some new round trip departures from Brisbane across to Tasmania as well. So really, again, I'm based in Sydney, but for me, the real highlight is we've got Majestic Princess making a return for a second season in 2019, as well as we're really excited to announce that Ruby Princess will be making her way down to Sydney for the very first time for her maiden season. Now, I was fortunate enough to cruise on Ruby about 18 months ago and did a Mexican Riviera cruise out of LA. And I've got to say, I was absolutely impressed. Ruby Princess is a Grand Class ship, so she's sister ship. Some of you may be familiar with Emerald Princess, so she's a sister ship to Emerald, and she's 113,000 tonnes, just over 3,000 passengers. And I guess what struck me from my first experience on Ruby was she has all of the new features that we as salespeople are talking about in terms of the new look and feel. So, for example, she's got the new celebrity chef Curtis Stone's Share restaurant. She also has Crown Grill. She's got the Best Burger at Sea in Salty Dog pub, so casual dining. We also have both indoor and outdoor pool areas. We've got the sanctuary, so again, Serenity stewards that can really pamper your guests. And again, offering a really VIP experience, and also movies under the stars. It's got the new production show, the new luxury beds. So again, a lot of new features. So Ruby was a 2008 build, so hard to compare to Majestic being a brand new ship launched last year. But I think that cruising out of Sydney, clients will certainly be spoilt for choice. This season, Majestic Princess has been selling so well, and again, that's why we've got her back here for a second season. For those of you who may not know, she's 143,000 tonnes, 3,500 passengers, and she's our newest and most luxurious ship to join the fleet. She offers really something unique, certainly from the Grand Atrium, 50% larger than our Sun Class ships. But she has a lot of new choices in terms of dining. She has 2 Michelin star restaurants in Le Meur and Harmony, so French and Asian Cantonese, traditional Cantonese style cuisine. She also has over 1,000 square meters dedicated to retail space. So think, your high-end brands, Bulgari, Cartier, etc., right down to, your, Princess Pen or a ship model, that type of thing. In terms of length, she's the size of 6 Olympic pools, and she also is 80% staterooms. And one of the unique things about our Royal Class ships being Majestic is a Royal Class, 80% balcony. So there is actually no ocean view. So it basically goes interior and then straight jumps up to balcony. She's got 36 suites, and we've really bumped up the mini suites with 374 mini suites, and also club class available. On Majestic as well, so again, as I said at start, family friendly, not family focused. We also do have over 200 interconnecting cabins as well. If you want to know more about Majestic Princess, we have some webinars coming up to make mention of. So if you note the 16th of May and the 19th of June, and they are dedicated webinars for Majestic Princess if you want to know more. Now, we at Princess are not excited much about Majestic coming down, but for those of you who may be familiar with our online tools, we actually have a countdown. So basically, Majestic Princess is making her way down, and she's 150 days away, 20 hours away, 13 minutes and 34 seconds away from arriving into Sydney on the 15th of September. So let's have a look at some of the key itineraries. So basically, we've got Ruby Princess doing a brand new cruise, and she'll be doing a range of cruises from 2 to 14 night cruises out of Sydney, going to New Zealand, Australia, and South Pacific. The new 8-night New Caledonia, Vanuatu. A lot of the feedback that we've had from guests is that clients are after that premium cruise offering that they haven't wanted to go for other brands. So we've now got that available. We also have 12 and 14 night Australia and New Zealand sailings. New Zealand is, for us, our #1 selling destination out of Australia, and both Majestic and Ruby will be doing cruises, but particularly for Christmas and New Year for those offerings. Sea Princess will return to sail longer and will be doing the 28-night round Australia and also the 35-night Hawaii, Tahiti, and South Pacific. So as many of you will know on the line today, is that those longer cruises really do need to be booked well in advance. So Majestic Princess and Sun Princess will also be offering like repositioning cruises, 19 to 22 nights between Asia and Australia, sailing between Sydney, Singapore, or Sydney, Shanghai, or Sydney, Hong Kong. We have 3 Hawaii, Tahiti, South Pacific cruises, with Ruby sailing between Los Angeles and Sydney. Golden will also be sailing from San Francisco into Sydney, and there is also optional departures available doing Vancouver to Sydney, which will be the last sector of, or last leg of the Alaskan cruise. So it would be back-to-back cruise, Alaska cruise, and then Vancouver down. And also our very popular Northern Explorer, the 17-night Northern Explorer between Sydney and Fremantle, on Sun Princess and also on Golden Princess. So you can see out of Sydney, and obviously just the slides on the screen, we've just a snapshot, but we've got a lot of departures for Sydney. Now moving on to Fremantle. So as I said, they have really increased in terms of departures, but I think the key thing would be Sun Princess returns to be home ported in Fremantle, and she's doing a range of cruises from 4 to 46 nights, calling into destinations within Australia, but also Asia and Africa. For the first time since 2016, we'll be offering one of our most popular long itineraries, and you can see there it's the 46-night Indian Ocean South African Odyssey cruise, which is a round trip from Fremantle on Sun Princess, visiting 12 different destinations across 9 countries. And it will also highlight or feature 2 overnights, one in Cape Town and a maiden call in Zanzibar in Tanzania. So absolutely sensational. And just before I joined the webinar, I can tell you that my phone has been ringing off the hook about people wanting to secure group space on that itinerary. So certainly don't miss the boat on that one. Also on that 46-nighter, there is an additional option to do a 55-night round trip from Adelaide, which will depart on the 20th of January 2020. So I think these longer cruises are fantastic for, I guess, our repeat passengers, but also for the experienced traveller or cruiser that's looking to go to more exotic destinations like this particular itinerary presents. So moving on to cruising out of Brisbane. So new for Brisbane is the 10-night down to Tassie cruise out of Brisbane on Sea Princess, featuring calls to Burnie, Port Arthur, and we also have a late night departure out of Hobart, as well as a transit call into Sydney. With Sea Princess going back up to Brisbane, she'll be doing a range of cruises from 2 to 35 nights, calling into destinations across Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, the Coral Sea, South Pacific, Hawaii, and Tahiti. So again, a lot of offering also out of Brisbane. Moving on to Melbourne. So Melbourne, I guess what's new is the Queensland cruise. So it's a 14-night Queensland sort of coastal cruise. Airlie Beach, Yorkeys Knob, which is the gateway for, or the port for Cairns. We've got Port Douglas and also Brisbane, Newcastle and Sydney. And she'll also do a new 7-nighter Southern Explorer. basically with late night stays out of Adelaide. So again, a couple of new and key itineraries, I'm sure, for many people. Now with Adelaide, there's a couple of, I guess the key highlight would be the 55 nighter, but also an 18-night Fiji South Pacific round trip on Golden. So yeah, and as I said, the Southern Explorer, which is a 5-night option for Adelaide. So exciting times. And finally, cruising from Auckland. So Ruby will make her debut in Australia, and obviously our return of Majestic, but also sailing out of Auckland. So she's got a new 3-night New Zealand getaway as well, and that'll be on Ruby. So exciting time. So I think that, you know, for all of our key destinations, you know, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide, Fremantle, and also Auckland, there's something new in each of those areas. So good luck in terms of setting up your select sailings and cruise sales and everything for today. The other key update that I want to share with you, which I said I would touch on at the start, is the new features and the new partnerships that we've got. So with Princess, again, meet our chefs. We've got some big name chefs that we've partnered with. So I think probably for here in Australia, Curtis Stone with his introduction of Share on both Sun and Ruby Princess, but also Sabatini's, which is a very, very popular specialty dining. It's actually getting a refresh. We've partnered with Angelo Oriana, and basically that's going to be on Golden Princess, that Sabatini's, and it's going to be rolled out fleet wide, but the first that we'll see it is on Golden, which has just come out of a dry dock in I'm just thinking it was October. But again, Salty Dog, UNESCO, again, I experienced it on Ruby. It was absolutely superb for a $19 cover charge. There were 6 courses. It was absolutely sensational. And obviously the 2 specialty restaurants on Majestic, which is Le Mer and Harmony, so French and Cantonese or Chinese Cantonese food. So again, a big driving force for customers choosing Princess is food, and certainly I know that we can deliver on that. In terms of our Captain Circle program, and again, I said it at the start, this is one of our really big points of difference. We have the best past passenger program. So Captain Circle, from your client's very first cruise, basically they automatically qualify for gold and then move on from Ruby to Platinum to Elite. From my personal perspective, I would say to you that with Elite, and a lot of our guests are Elite, they get things like priority embarkation, free internet, laundry, mini bar. We host evening canapes every evening in a bar around the ship, and you know, various officers, captains come along to these events, which are again our past passengers love. So again, that's just some of the benefits that our Elite guests get. Obviously today, the program for 2019-2020, we've opened it up to Elite guests first so that they can, you know, cherry pick what they are after. And these guests have either done 16 plus cruises or 151 cruise days with us. The other thing that I would say to you, just remember that if you have done any of our online training, and you're a Commodore, so basically you automatically also qualify for Elite status when you personally travel on Princess. So lots of benefits for our Captain Circle program. Now, in terms of past passenger offering, so we are offering extra savings. So anyone that basically makes a booking, and again, they've got until 31 March 2019, so it's a little way off. It's not as though it's just a 1-week sale or anything like that. But as an extra saving and reward to our past guests, they will get launch savings. So they get basically extra savings of $100 per person, as well as reduced deposit for any of the cruises that they book on as part of the new program. Now, as it said in the little video, basically we are on sale for Elite guests today. So bookings open from 9 a.m. and it will open to general So anyone else, the general sale on the 19th tomorrow. So again, I would be reaching out to your past passengers. We obviously would have also communicated about the new program, but really to maximise the opportunity, and I'm going to talk about some of those opportunities as I move forward with the presentation, but I would be looking at setting up select sailings. You may also want to consider setting up a select cruise sale. You may want to host your own client night. I'm doing them every night this week. So yeah, and it's a great way to really boost your sales. Now, talking about boosting your sales, so something that I just wanted to touch on is looking at some of our sales tools. So some of you may or may not be aware, and all of this information is available on OneSource. Okay, so basically, this is really critical, this whole sort of little sales cycle. So basically, the first step in ensuring that you get your piece of the cruise business out of those 1.3 million Australians that are taking a cruise, that you would choose some select sailings, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in a moment. That combined with whatever the current campaign, so at the moment it's pick your piece of the world. We also have the ability for you to set up a cruise sale, and we also offer future cruise deposits. So with the future cruise deposit, this is a form which you could automatically pop in your client's documents, and you can print it out as part of the documentation process. But we also have available on OneSource, and the best time for your client to consider booking another cruise is actually when they're on board, and all they have to do is deposit. The future cruise deposit is fully refundable. They only have to pay a $100 deposit, and they get up to $150 per person onboard credit. So it's a great way. And if you can sort of look at that slide and think, yep, we're setting up the select sailings, yep, we know about the current campaign, yep, we set up cruise sales, and yes, we actively use the future cruise deposit forms, you're probably well on your way to having a really strong cruise business. But if I kind of flesh it out and give you a bit more details about our select sailing program specifically. So I think the key thing is that basically as an agency, you can actually block up to 5 cabins, 10 lower berths to qualify for advantage pricing, as you can register one select sailing, so one departure per ship, per month, per destination. The program, even though we call it our select sailing program, it's sometimes referred to as a group. Please don't get confused, they are one and the same. And essentially, don't think of it as a group that you have to have minimum numbers. There's absolutely no risk to you. And I think the key thing to note is that there is preferential pricing. So the pricing for our group pricing features a 2-category upgrade. When compared to our launch pricing, there's no deposit required to block up to 16 beds. Okay, so for every 6 guests, and that's based on lower berths, or for every 8 cabins, you actually qualify for 1 FOC berth, and that basically equates to an extra 6% commission or bonus commission to your agency. So it's a great way for you to earn extra commission and really target your activities to focus your promotions on. For those of you not maybe familiar with the program, for each cruise there is a certain number of predefined amenity points, and these amenity points, essentially if a cruise is worth 6 amenity points, the code is GS4 and GS1, and that would equate to $85 onboard credit. So for example, if you wanted to set up a select sailing for a New Zealand cruise where you have 6 points, you could actually choose, the GS4 and GS1, and that would offer your clients an extra $85 onboard credit. Now, there are user guides on OneSource, which I'm going to highlight, but also from time to time we offer webinars on sales tools as well. So again, there's plenty of resource there, but also reach out to your local BDM, whether it's me or any of the other BDMs around the country. Certainly we can walk you through the program. Moving on to the next one, which would be cruise sales. So cruise sales, think of it as a sale week. It's a 7-day sale, essentially. It's all set up in Polar, and all your bookings can made, by your offer within a week. So it's a 7-day period, and it gives your client a onboard credit amount depending on the duration of the cruise. But let's say for a cruise 7 nights or longer that they book, they get $100 per stateroom. They also get 50% reduced deposit, and you have the opportunity to register 6 cruise sales per year and a maximum of 2 in a quarter. So if you look at, we're in Q2 now, and if you were to go in to access your cruise sales and you haven't used any for 2018, now is the time for April, May, and June. So that's Q2. You could set up 2 weeks back to back. Now we're coming to the end of Pick Your Piece of the World, which is our current campaign. But my advice would be maybe for the next campaign that we're about to roll out come early May, and maybe jump on and piggyback on the back of that campaign, because again, that automatically gives your clients extra onboard credit as well as the reduced deposit, which again is really attractive for them. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of Easy Air. I've had more inquiries and about Easy Air in the last 6 weeks than I've had in my whole career at Couple Australia or Princess. So basically, our Easy Air program really is designed to offer competitive airfares and coordinates your client's cruise itinerary with their air. And I've got to say, at the moment with the current campaign, our prices are very low, and it automatically customizes to what your client's cruise booking. We have 2 types of fares, both restricted and flexible. As you can probably imagine, restricted is actually instant purchase, whereas flexible fares don't require payment until you make final cruise payment. We also offer late arrival protection, and I think this is a real advantage of our Easy Air program. Basically, with late arrival, it ensures that your clients will get to their cruise if flights are delayed or cancelled, and we'll get you home if for any reason your cruise or Princess Cruises causes you to miss your return flight. So again, it's great to have that added safety net. Obviously, there's 24/7 support. There's optional extras in terms of hotel packages and transfers. I think the key thing to note about Princess Easy Air, it is a net rate, so you do need to mark it up. And yeah, all I'd say is at the moment, particularly because the campaign is offering air credits, have a look at it, because there really is some fantastic deals. Now, moving on, just to give you a bit of a deep dive into OneSource, and if I can just highlight a few things. So obviously you would come into the World's Leading Cruise Lines website over here on the right, and then this is the landing page where you would come into OneSource. Okay, so OneSource is our one-stop shop for anything Princess Cruises related. So you can see here we have got a link to the 2019-2020 release, which I've just covered off, and there is a mini brochure attached to that. We've got access to Polar Online Academy. So again, Academy is our online training program. I would hope that you as a Clear agent, that you're all Commodore. I believe, don't quote me, but I believe that in completing our Academy program, you get actually 5 Clear points, and maybe Troy can confirm that, but I seem to recall that it was 5 points. We also, in OneSource, have access to our media library, and also Ask Isaac, which is a live chat. So if any of you from time to time have clients in front of you, have a question, you've got direct access to Ask Isaac. But one of the things that I really want to show you is under Agent Tools, there is a lot of information here, and I just want to show you that whether you access it down here under Learn More or under Agent Tools on the drop down, under Academy, I also want to highlight that we've got our webinars. So think of Academy being training. Our webinars are listed, and also under Booking Tools, we have our ship inspection dates. Now, there's nothing new in there at the moment, but if I then click through on the drop down, so this is basically opening up Agent Tools area, and under Agent Tools, we've gone into destination and marketing. And again, you'll see there's a link to our program release, the mini brochure, e-flyers, and also any videos or webinars that we may have put together. So there really is a lot of content that is available here for you. So if any of you are interested in, ship inspections or hosting, your own VIP kind of past passenger night, or even new to cruise night, certainly reach out to your local BDM. Now, the final point that I wanted to make, obviously with Majestic coming and being a brand new ship, and obviously you guys being clear cruise consultants, we absolutely want to have you on board. But there is a requirement. You must be Commodore in order to get access to the Majestic ship inspections. Now, I can tell you that we've extended, the qualification to get to Commodore. So you've got until the 23rd of April, so which must be next week. And basically, then we're going to load all of the ship inspections for Majestic. Now, I will tell you, we've also got space blocked for kind of like a large famille Brisbane to Sydney as well. So again, you may get an opportunity to do that as well. And we also, as part of the Academy program, have graduation cruises. Now, I know that we released some yesterday. And again, I'm talking cruises on Majestic, cruises in Alaska for later on this year. So there is no better time to do the Academy. So not only do you automatically become elite, but you also do get a free graduation cruise if your agency has 4 active bookings. So again, lots of opportunities and training opportunities for you. So but that really brings me to the end. But as I said at the start, cruising is the fastest growing sector of the industry. Certainly there is huge opportunities, and we really need to continue to work really closely with our travel agent partners, because we really do see you as a valuable resource and key role in matching clients to the perfect cruise. Hopefully you agree that this is our it is our largest deployment of ships, but certainly having Ruby and Majestic, certainly for me, cruising out of Sydney is a real opportunity. Obviously that 46-nighter Indian Ocean, South African Odyssey, there's some really key opportunities, I think, for all of us moving forward. Now, I will hand back over to Troy, but I wanted to say that I will be staying on the line. So if you have any questions, pop them down into the chat, and I will also be happy to take any calls that you may have, offline as well. But thank you. Have a great day. Don't forget to go in and register. As I said, I've had agents hounding me since about 7:30 this morning. So get on and register Select Sailings. May want to consider setting up a cruise sale, but all the best with the release that goes on sale today. Thank you very much. I'll hand back over to Troy.
Thank you so much, Rachel. What a wonderful presentation. Whilst we're just waiting for any questions to come through, we've also uploaded 2 documents which you can download as a PDF. One of them is the brochure for Princess Cruises, and the second one is a PDF on how to grow your business with first-time cruises with Princess Cruises. They're both great takeaways, and will just further embed everything that Rachel has gone over today for us. So we'll just both hang around for a couple of moments. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put them into the chat.
Troy, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes.
And for those obviously that can see the chat, yes. So I didn't realise. So you get 5 points for staff captain and 5 for Commodore. So if you really are trying to up, your points to get to the magic 20, if it's still 20 that are required, you're well on your way.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely a great point. So don't forget to upload those certificates into the Clear Learning Academy so that you can be awarded your points for completing the Princess Academy.
Do they get any points for the webinar at all?
Not at the moment, no. The webinars I just run each week for product updates and refreshers, but it is something we are definitely conscious of and aware.
Yeah. And what about ship inspections? Is it still 5 points that they get?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So again, if you're wanting to get on Majestic and you are Commodore, you'll get an extra 5 points for that as well.
And I also heard you mention before the graduation cruise. So, any travel agents who perhaps go on the graduation cruise, there's also another 10 points for any cruises which are completed as long as they're over 3 nights or more. So, there's an extra 10 points, which is fabulous.
Fantastic. It's always good to have a refresher on that. How
That's
many
it.
hours would it take to complete? Linda, thank you for your question. I would say to you that, can they all hear me, Troy, if I'm talking like this?
Absolutely.
I would say to you, if you did nothing else, I would say it'd probably take you the day. From experience and what agents tell me, how they do it, is they might start at the day, but what's good about it is that you can minimize it and keep going back to it. So yeah, Anzac Day is coming up just around the corner. Just saying. No, but look, I'm sure it depends on your own, knowledge base. But it's sort of, read the passage, multiple guess. All I'd say to you that in some of the modules, where let's say it genuinely says it'll take you 30 minutes, I can guarantee you, even if you read it, it would only take you less than half of that time. Now, Katie, if you've got packs interested in that Odyssey, so maybe I'm in touch with you to find out more info. Absolutely, feel free to reach out to me. Do they have my details at all, Troy, so that at least I can field questions? I will tell you that my details are on the back of that, first time cruisers guide. So my email and phone number is on the back there, but I can type it up for you. I might just type it in here so that if anyone does want it, you can use it. Reg material 0438. So there's my number. So feel free to give me a call and discuss that. Katie, happy to help. But my best tip would be to go in to Polar Online and create a group as soon as possible. The other thing is, because this program is really new, can you set up 2 groups on the same ship? So, Carmen, if you can clarify, are you talking about the Sun Princess 46 nighter and 55 nighter, as in out of, let's say, Adelaide and out of Sydney? Because if that's the case, yes, they're different voyage numbers. Yeah, they're different voyage numbers. So, not that I have them off the top of my head, but yeah, so you would be able to set up basically a select sailing, and I'm just trying to look for it for you. I should have it off the top of my head, shouldn't I? So yeah, for the 55 nighter out of Adelaide would be S003B, and then you would go in and set up a separate select sailing on S004. So I'll just repeat that, S003B for Bravo and S004. And the amenity codes, if you wanted to max out the onboard credit, it basically would be GS4 and GS1. But again, you might want to get a bit, creative with it. You might want to offer them a bottle of wine or some chocolate covered strawberries or a photo credit. There's a whole range of things, but if you were to jump into one source under select sailings, you could have more details on that. Thanks, Carmen. Have we got any other questions out there?
No more questions for this morning? Okay, well, I might wrap up the session for today. Don't forget that this webinar is being recorded and will be uploaded into the CLIA Members Hub. Rachel also provided her mobile number there, so feel free to reach out to her if you have any questions. Alternatively, feel free to get in contact with us here at CLIA and we can field your question through to Rachel. Well, thank you so much for attending today. Have a great day, everyone.